Hello again. I got a good amount of the roots spread out here, and I'm doing some work on them. A couple of things I'd like to point out. When you splay out your roots, it's very important to get them straight all the way down to the origin down in here. If you got a lot of bends, you know, close up in here, it's going to make the roots harder to twist up tightly, and you need to be able to get them fairly tight, because if you're making a tree that's going to stand on the roots need to be able to support the weight of the tree without bending and falling over. This bunch of roots here that are sticking up in the center, those strands are the strands that I first inserted into the jig, and they're real easy to find when you unsplay the roots, because they have almost no twist to them, because they were the ones that were in the holes that were drilled vertically in the jig that had no cant to them. And another thing you'll be able to see here, you can see in there, there's 2 wraps of wire that I showed you earlier on when I was making the trunk. Those perform 2 tasks. They help spread out the bottom of the trunk to give it that little bit of a flare at the bottom that is going to make your tree look like an old tree. And it also is going to help keep the trunk from splitting when I twist up the roots, and it helps provide some strength. Okay, and here's that little wire that was sticking out earlier. That wire is the end of those wires that are circling the strands right there, and I'm going to end up twisting that to one of these wires. And I'm also going to do the same thing with the circling technique there. I'm going to do that here also with just 1 strand of wire, and that's going to help make this trunk to root transition quite a bit stronger. After I get that next circling piece of wire way down in there and bind it to this one somehow, twisting it to one of these, and I'm going to go ahead and splay out the rest of these wires. It's also, when you're spreading out these wires, you got to be careful to distribute them evenly, so you've got enough wire to, you know, make your roots. So I suppose that'll be it for this video. Talk to you again soon.